Just 2 days after I thought that the Bucks finally figured out their strengths, they lost to the Kings by 35 points. Then, Ant-Man led the Timberwolves to an impressive 18-point win over the Clippers after trailing by 22 on the road, and we got a bunch of other crazy games. But first, let's go to Sacramento to dissect the Bucks fiasco. The Kings opened up the game furiously, knocking down 8 threes in the first quarter. Harrison Barnes was on fire, hitting 3 for 3 from downtown.
Suit of theirs, and the Kings really test any opponent by getting back to guard.
Barnes, bang, bang, bang. It's time for the percolator.
On the other side, Antetokounmpo was the only one ready to play as he was destroying the defense inside the paint.
Giannis getting downhill with the hammer. We just saw the stat there with his dunk.
In the second quarter, Malik Monk came storming from the bench with 12 points. The Kings forced 5 turnovers in this period, which catapulted their lead to 19 at the half.
And this is a scrappy Kings team we're seeing. Keon Hampson!
Giannis was perfect from the field in that span for 14 points of his own, but he wasn't getting any help from his teammates. Lillard was especially bad in this one. 10 points on 2 for 12 shooting. That's 16.5% from the field. Despite him missing a bunch of threes, he couldn't even finish an open layup.
I agree. Damian Lillard got to look at it, couldn't convert the lay-in opportunity.
This game was over after 3 quarters as Milwaukee seemingly surrendered. Sabonis had a monster game with 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists as he was bullying Brook Lopez all night long.
Here's De'Aaron Fox. Mighty Domas. Oh, man!
Okay, Domantas Sabonis.
Fox was brilliant as well with 29 points and 7 assists on 64% shooting, and Monk finished the game with 25 off the bench. Wow, a 35-point loss and not a single point created from the Giannis-Dame pick-and-roll connection. Just 2 days ago, I made an entire video praising them that they finally figured it out after their win against the Clippers, in which they dominated using the simplest play in basketball, the pick and roll. Anyway, let's move on to the Clippers and the Timberwolves in LA, where the home team picked up the pace from the beginning. Harden, Kawhi, and PG were hitting from everywhere. Even this three-pointer by the Claw somehow went inside the rim.
And the shooter's bounce from Kawhi Leonard.
On the other end, Minnesota shot terribly from beyond the arc, only 1 for 9 to start the game. And halfway through the second quarter, the Clippers had a 22-point lead and the crowd was buzzing.
He will return. Oh, a little fake behind the back. Harden able to lay it in. What a play.
But then, all of a sudden, the Timberwolves went on a 10-0 run to cut the deficit to 12. And after this tough fadeaway shot by Paul George to stop the bleeding, here come the Wolves again. Another 10-0 furious run capped off by this three-pointer from Edwards.
Wolves come surging back. Neil Alexander Walker looking for Edwards, who steps into a three. And it goes!
Minnesota came all the way back from being down by 22 in a span of 4.5 minutes. Amazing. The first half ended with an 8-point lead for the home team, but the momentum was clearly on the opposite side. Kawhi leaving the game before the half with back spasms was an additional blow for the Clippers. Then we saw more of the same in the third quarter. Fueled by Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who scored 10 points in the period, the Timberwolves got all the way back and took the lead on this possession.
Edwards, no, the foul by Gobert, and Minnesota down 22 in the second quarter have their first lead.
Slow-mo ended the quarter in style for a 6-point Timberwolves lead.
He puts it up and he knocks it in. Kyle Anderson hits a jumper.
In the final period, Mike Conley was sizzling hot, hitting 5 for 5 from the field as Minnesota completely turned this game around.
As Mike Conley is on fire from three-point range.
At the end, Anthony Edwards finished with 37 points and 8 rebounds, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker was phenomenal off the bench, shooting 9 for 10 from the field for a total of 28 points. The Clippers now lost 2 in a row, and they lost Kawhi as well. They're now 3.5 games away from the top seed as things are just now starting to heat up in the West. Heading to the East, where the Knicks and the Sixers faced off for a second time in 3 days. With Tyrese Maxey and OG back in the lineups, New York was ready to avenge that ugly defeat, where the two teams combined for the lowest score in 8 years. But last night was different. Josh Hart had a huge triple-double with 20 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists as the Knicks improved the record with Anunoby on the floor to 13-2. Now we gotta go to Indy's special play.
Shooting for the Thunder. The lob up top, and my goodness!
This Halliburton to Toppin connection is a regular in the Pacers offense. And speaking of that, the offense was clicking for them against OKC. In a shootout between the two teams, the Thunder put the pressure on them in the fourth quarter, but the Pacers responded in a spectacular way.
Halliburton, the speed, the kick. We'll close out. The Neesmith goes up and soars to the cup.
And just moments later, the great ball movement resulting with an ice-cold Andrew Nembhard three-pointer to pretty much seal the deal in this game. A great win on the road for the Pacers. So unfortunately for the Bucks, their embarrassing and disappointing loss is one of the headliners of the night. And on that note, there are players who've been disappointing for this entire season. I made a video exposing all of them, so you gotta check it out right here. Talk to you in the next one. Peace out.